Hello everybody, my name is Alex. You've heard that probably every nutrient inside the world comes from fruits. But what if I told you every nutrient in the world comes from the soil? And today's topic is soil, and I will tell you all about it. And I will tell you some things inside soil and how people affect soil, the positives and negatives about it. Now let's begin. First of all, do you know that CO2, that soil is a tiny brown substance that have nutrients inside it. But do you know how they're formed? Yes, they are formed from the breakdown of rocks and minerals from weathering and turns into tiny pieces and rocks, not called pebbles, but also called sediments. These are layers inside the Earth's crust. For example, I could say that inside a group layer of sediment, there is a fossil that have been preserved for millions of years ago from the asteroid that had hit the Earth. So they'll wash away from minerals and precipitation such as water, ice, rock, and also soil, and dust and sand. You might live where there's crummy soil, or rocky soil, or brownish soil. But no matter if these are different types, they're all soil. Soil is not dirt, but in the wrong place, it concludes about minerals more than dirt. Soil can also help us our food. They are made up of tiny pieces called sediments, tiny pieces of rocks too. Sometimes they're huge crumbs. Soil is an uncountable amount, which means that despite being that small size, it is still very important. It contains nutrients from dead plants and animals from long ago. And soil also have nutrients for plants and even living things to grow too, and to stay healthy and to be alive. No wonder that there is no food chain or food web or any life on Earth if there's no nutrients inside the soil. If there's no soil and there's no crust, and then there's no dirt, and magma will rise up and burn our feet, and then there will be no life in our world. Can you imagine that? So soil is very also important because we can walk in it and walk on soil. But except when you're walking on a building or something, or apartment, or everywhere inside up. But you still walk in soil. It contains minerals from fruits too. They also contain nutrients you have heard before, such as potassium, magnesium, and also and dioxide, and oxide, and oxford, and a lot of other nutrients inside it so that plants can grow. Much of it sometimes is also inside some fruits and food. So we know that soil also makes our plants healthy, trees, the living things healthy. Without them, we might not survive. Soil helps us contain food. The stem and roots of it suck the nutrients on the ground and turn them into the sweet and fruits. And so the fruits come into other places. And so that's why we need plants to adapt. That is our only environment. And for example, if that's the soil, what about weathering? Take for example, ice. When the ice age formed at about millions of years ago. And at that time, we know that about that time that we have discovered that rocks and minerals and ice have frozen down. But then cooler and cooler things eventually our planet warms and give us life. And they broke off of the weatherings and turned into dirt. And soon that's why we have dirt and soil and rocks. And you know that soil comes from 3 different types: the rocky soils, the crummiest soils, or the sandy soils. Like dirt. Well, not quite dirt, but still, here's another example. Imagine you're camping with your friends near a volcano. Suddenly, the volcano erupts and the magma flows down the rocks. You're safe here, and you see but the dirt and soil is covered with rocks. Can the soil stay hot and full with magma and lava for thousands of years, or billions, and stay there forever, hot and crummy? No. The dead plants and animals that died there have happened to be decomposed it, and the soil turns normal again, turning into new life species next to the volcano. And it's true to see that also soil helps us in a lot of ways. It can store CO2 for us, which global gas emissions. But unfortunately, because of fossil fuels and the fossil fuels and climate change and weathering and a lot of other things that have pollution like cars, the fossil fuels give us everywhere, then there would be no soil left and the soil can't resist it. And they release the soil. But that is not our only problem. Sometimes plants and trees can save us too. They can still store their CO2 on their leaves. And we can still breathe the oxygen now, and the trees can also protect us. But what if the trees still have a lot of CO2? Humans are depending on this. It's their fault, so they have to depend on it, whether to die or to live. So, people, about 175 countries have signed the Global Paris Accord and decided to keep the world clean and not using fossil fuels. And also, the dirt and soil will still be safe, but also it can't stay for long because it can erode away or because of weathering. But still, it can still protect our own world. 1 planet, 7 worlds. We know about this, about that, about the soil and its nutrients, its storing, its important benefits, the positives and negatives about it. And last of all, I told you that we have to save the world. There's only 1 world, 1 planet. 7 worlds, 1 planet, and our Earth is just a small tiny piece of blue and white and green land. About the Sahara Desert only and to the Amazon rainforest, there is dirt and soil. Soil is important for us, for our life. And we know a lot more about it, about how it germinates the seeds and how it protects our world from these global missions about the CO2, about the fossil fuels, about the cars and trucks and motorbikes and transportation delivering everything into our world with CO2 gas emissions. So that's how we protect our world from the positives and negatives about it. We know that global warming is ready to blame in the future. If we don't act quickly, soil will take charge of us. But it can simply erode away. Because of something, global warming heats our planet up and kills all life beings. This is very serious. If we don't act quickly, then it will destroy our entire world. So, soil, we have to think about the soil. The soil protects us from CO2 emissions, and we can learn more about soil, about its also nutrients, help plants grow, and is important for our life for us, about decaying and decomposing the animals, and about trees too, and plants. If we don't have these things, our planet will completely die in just a few months or even years. So, we have to protect our world from CO2 gas emissions. And here's one thing to think about: soil. So, that is the end. And goodbye, everybody. Thank you for listening.